What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Alex G, alongside Mal. This is episode 45. You good?
Yeah, my mic was
Also,
just,
your mic is always messed up.
I know. Why is mine look all bent?
The cord is supposed to be at the bottom. God.
Yeah, why is mine look all bent?
It's your boy Alex G. I'm alongside Mal. This is the A Couple of Things podcast where we're here to talk about a couple of things. This is episode number 45. Thank you all for being with us today. Hope you are having a wonderful day. Nobody cares.
Yeah, but that looks crazy. Oh, well.
Okay, let's get into whatever topics you have.
I'm scared to talk about this one. But it's not going to be crazy or controversial. It's literally just going to be my feelings on things. But obviously, we're going to start off with Roe versus Wade. Funny enough, I took AP History like 2 years in high school. And literally, I took AP History, which was A-Push. It was AP U.S. History. And then I took GOPO, which was AP Government and Politics. And I had literally a classmate who was related to Biden. So we went to the White House and all that. So, I was a little smarty. And so I hadn't been to Roe versus Wade. So many people are just finding out about this. But we literally had to do Supreme Court cases. We literally had SCOTUS cases that we had to do all the time. Oh my God, it just gives me triggering vibes. But I'm very aware of Roe versus Wade, and I've been aware for the last 10 years. And so as we all know, that got overturned by the Supreme Court. And people clearly weren't happy. A lot of women weren't happy, and a lot of people were happy. It was very, it's funny. I feel like things are more split than we think, or things could be more weighed higher on the other side, more than we think. Because I think social media is so controlled, it seems like, by one side, and maybe not even that, because I think it's just what we're seeing because of what we engage with, right? But do you feel like social media is more liberal, like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok? Do you think it's more people with left views that overpower these websites?
No, I just feel like the people that have the typical opposing view don't post those things necessarily because it's become and not that they're an oppressed group of thought, but it's become a thing where if you do have an opposing opinion to typical liberal views, then, people will go after your employer and, you'll get
doxxed.
You'll get, laughed off the internet, attacked off the internet, that kind of thing. So I think that people that have those kind of views just don't necessarily post, or they'll be kind of, I don't want to use the word closeted, but for lack of a better term, closeted conservatives, and also they stay in the Yahoo comments for sure. Yeah,
that's true. Yahoo comments are
the craziest comment section. I wonder if they still exist.
You know what's funny? I think the whole Yahoo thing, I feel like we talked about this before, but knowing that about those comments is literally because of work, right? Like when we used to work in Montclair, we'd be so bored at work, you just start reading Yahoo articles.
Yeah, and the comment section was always crazy. Wait, let me see.
This one only has 5, surprisingly.
Oh, so it does still exist. I don't know why I thought I heard recently that they got rid of the Yahoo comment section. I was like, I'm not surprised. But now there's the disclaimer here.
They used to always be bad. I used to actually log into my Yahoo to fight people in the comments sometimes because it used to literally be bad, especially with stuff with black people. So much racism. But yeah, Yahoo used to be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely agree that I feel like because nowadays, you see Meg Thee Stallion, Olivia Rodrigo, they both have said something recently on their, during their concert about it. Kendrick Lamar. So it's you see it's socially acceptable to say those things and out loud, when you're on one side of it all. It's just crazy because like you said, I feel a lot of people actually keep how they feel inside because they're scared of repercussions, because it seems like the powers that be are They like to stay. It's weird. It's almost like they like to stay on a good side of things, and the good side just so happens to be the quote unquote good side just so happens to be the left side or left thought. These companies, like you said, earlier, they're asking companies if they're going to pay for the abortions, and it's controversial because it's you're asking these CEOs that with the possibility of them saying no, and knowing that the outrage that's going to come with it, or the stock price change, it's very weird how things are seen in the public, they're more so one-sided when it comes to companies and things like that.
Yeah.
and celebrities. Could have any celebrity come up and say something and agree with the Roe versus Wade?
No, and nobody would do that because
They wouldn't because they're scared.
I think that I almost feel like entertainment in general is more for a liberal audience than it is for a conservative audience anyway. I feel like conservative people don't really find entertainment and the things that liberals find entertaining. Like you wouldn't find a conservative listen to certain music artists, and this is me generalizing, but what my perception is, I don't think that conservatives really play in the general population with like what's popular in terms of comedy or music or clothing. Even I think they play in like a different racket. So
it's weird though, because it depends, because like another side of this Roe versus Wade thing, a lot of people are speaking out about it, and I told you the other day, like a lot of like really pro Black people were actually against. I mean, we're actually happy that this happened, because it gets into a deep conversation about like the Margaret, whatever her name was, was her name Margaret Sanger or something like that, the one who like was that her name? Yeah, who created Planned Parenthood and like purposely were trying to like reduce the Black population. So a lot of Black people, like really pro Black people, were happy for this because they feel like the Black population now could grow from no longer being a minority. So it's weird because it's like, I feel like we think like what a typical conservative looks like, when a lot of them are literally walking among us every day and you wouldn't even know. They just don't say how they feel, or they're lying almost and supporting one side just to keep their careers safe and stuff, Yeah,
I also think that not every, I'll speak as a member of the Black community. I think, I could speak on us. I also think that not every Black person is liberal either. I think that there's a lot of conservatism in Black thought as well, right?
Because we have a lot of old-fashioned thoughts in general.
Right, like the old-fashioned
Bible talk,
down south is mostly where that comes from. Their way of thinking is very along those lines, like the way you dress and all those kind of things, the lyrics, and they hate rap music. That sort of conservatism is also, and hopefully conservatism is the word, right?
Because it's basically like you're just conservative, like you're.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that's the right way to say it.
No, that's the right word. Yeah.
Okay. I think that school of thought still exists, and I think that they still would vote, based on those sort of things. So I don't think that what we generally think, how we generally see, because people with power on the conservative side look a certain way typically, but it does exist on the other side as well. Like when you're looking at some of these during elections and things like that, in some of these counties, there's Black people and they're not voting for typically liberal people. But yeah, I think that it's an interesting debate. I think
What?
This whole thing, it's just very, very interesting.
I just honestly, it's so much to unpack though, because you have one side of people who are so pro, like they just bring God into it, and the whole thing is like, and like this would be a separation of church and state. So it's kind of weird.
Which there should be.
There should be, because like, why are you forcing a whole country to be Christians, like, or have Christian or follow Christian thoughts? Like, why are we praying under God? Like,
now most countries are like that though. That's the only thing, and not that makes it okay, but that is pretty common.
But America has made it a thing that we weren't supposed to be that. So it's like don't say that, and then you're turning into you're literally
it's on the
using
money.
a Bible. Yeah, it's in a classroom.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
We're not supposed to be like I think for a country that promotes every religion be able to come here, even if you're not religious, like that this is the land of just be who you want to be. But now you're telling me that we're following the Bible that was written by people. I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
I guess I'll give my actual opinion. Neither one of us gave an actual.
No, I'll give mine too, but you go first.
Thought and opinion. I think that, and hopefully I don't get killed off the internet.
You shouldn't, because
and I
say
shouldn't.
How you feel. It's just
I shouldn't based on what I'm about to say. Me personally, I think that people should not be using abortions as a form of contraception when there's so many other forms of contraception. Now, with that said, I still think that people should be able to at least have the opportunity to make that choice in the event that they did slip up. While I would side on the side of not doing it. So me personally, my personal feelings, if I ever got in a situation like that, made a mistake, impregnated somebody I didn't want to impregnate, I would stick through that.
Yep.
You made the
You
decision.
know, every time you laying down, that's the possibility.
Right. So
Every
I
single
made
time.
I made the decision. I'm not gonna look a woman in her face and tell her to terminate the pregnancy, whether she wants it or not. If she decides to not do that, that's fine by me. If she decides to go through with it, whatever. I made that decision. I knew in my mind, like, sex is not that crazy. I'm not drunk. I'm actively knowing what I'm doing. So I know the repercussions. So for me personally, my own personal feelings, I would never use it. But it's also not my place to say, and I also don't. I think people should have the ability to a certain extent, because it's like, what if you like? It's just so complicated, But and that's why I don't want to say anything super definitive. I think people should have the choice, while I personally wouldn't engage in it. And it's also none of my business to speak on what women should be doing or shouldn't be doing. That's just my personal feeling. Also, in general, if you look statistically with pregnancies that are aborted, and, always take data with a grain of salt, most of them are not from things like rape.
They said that what's going around on social media, that is 1% abortions come from rape. I don't know how true that is.
Right.
Because that seems way too low.
I don't know, though.
But that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, how many rapes the guy is, like, not to sound vulgar, but coming in the girl? I don't know if that's really common. Or lots of times from, rapes, unfortunately, the woman usually gets, not usually, but gets killed sometimes. But I just feel like lots of times with rapes, they're quick. I don't think rapes are long enough where a guy is doing, but maybe they are.
And a guy also doesn't need to ejaculate in a woman for her to get pregnant.
That's
But
true. And I'm not trying to dismiss that. I'm just saying I'm questioning that 1% number.
Yeah, I prefer people to not use it as a form of contraception. Well, actually, I don't care what people do. That's the biggest thing. I don't care what anybody does. But I think, just for health purposes and just making general good decisions, like, I would just prefer people to make, good decisions.
Yeah.
Don't make those type of mistakes. There's a bunch of contraceptions available for all different types of needs, mostly for women, but, men as well. And then there's abstinence. There's a bunch of different things, but no matter what, I think people should have their own choice. I don't agree with the decision personally, especially when people, I hate when, I kind of hate almost democracy in a way, or at least the way we sort of manage things in the U.S., where somebody implements something and then it gets overturned. Like, Obamacare was implemented, and then
and then it's stupid because then it could come back. Like, it's just a whole cycle. It literally could come back. Like, the next, if the Supreme Court in the next maybe 50 years, if it's swapped out, might overturn it again. Like, it's just like,
I think it's pointless, and then
it's so stupid.
Also, it wasn't proposed, but I forgot the gentleman's name. I'm not sure if it's a senator, and I should have done my background check. So sorry for anybody political watching this, because I know you guys are going to kill us. But because of this change, it also got brought up, the same-sex marriage thing getting reversed.
Yeah.
So it's like,
was
I don't agree.
Was that a conversation that they really were having, that they want to overturn?
It was just one person.
Oh, okay.
And I forget who.
Is it that Clarence guy, the black guy?
Yeah. That's what it was. Thank you for reminding me.
And the funny thing is, too, they're making him like the face of this whole thing now, too. Like, I'm like, excuse me. That was me burping. I was like, let's not make that a thing, right? Like,
well, he was the only one that.
Well, I said that, yeah, but maybe that's why. Like, maybe I dragged more because of that. But like, I feel like they was using him as the face of this abortion thing too. Cause then it's almost like you kind of had the question, like, okay, is this anti-blackness now? And then somebody, I think somebody, like a white liberal, called him the N-word, the hard ER.
No.
Yeah. And they both like, whoa, wait, I gotta find the tweet for you. But you can finish your point while I'm finding the tweet.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm explicitly clear, because this is a very sensitive conversation. I think, I don't know what the. It would be great on this podcast if we had like guests with opposing views. It would make it so holistic, and we can have actual, like, full in-depth conversation, because it's hard to argue from both sides when you're not on both sides. But
that's what it was.
Let me see. Looks like it's a 14-year-old kid.
Nah.
It's like between. I know, but she looks mad.
Apparently, and like she literally got like canceled off the internet. Like,
that's just funny. It's not funny, but that's
that
funny.
was crazy.
Sometimes you ever see something so racist, you just laugh at it.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. But yeah, I think it's disappointing. You see how quickly the states were to implement the bans. It was like within the hour.
yeah, I think they have like trigger. Some of them had trigger laws, where it's like instantly, yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I'll say my point next, but you can finish.
Yeah, last thing, because again, I just want to, because this is such a sensitive topic, I just want to make sure I'm explaining myself as clear as possible. There's so many different factors. I just the only thing that I would say is it does, and I hate to say this, but it does make it less of a crutch. In terms of, I think people know that option exists. So even when you get past like I'm not using contraception, then it's like, you can always terminate it, which you can do. But then
that's
again,
definitely the thing in the back of their mind, like, okay, God forbid I get pregnant, I'll just get an abortion. Like the fact that that's such like a
and it's not so much that I about the killing a unborn baby kind of thing, because that's not even actually where my head is at with it. It's more so just the general responsibility. It's almost like
that's your body at the end of the day. Like
that's the thing.
Even if you're like, all right, this is not a human, this is just a little fetus, like, which is where my head is at, because like I don't think a fetus is a human. But even if you want to put that thought process aside, that's your body. Like that's so invasive to put yourself through that.
Yeah, and I think that because it's available, it does make it a little bit of a crutch. I just want people to make
even girls with the Plan
decisions.
Bs. For me, it feels like that's like your body. Like you just popping a pill. Like that's mad irresponsible.
Yeah.
Like I've taken a Plan B once in my whole life, and I didn't even need to take it. Like we could admit that was kind of dumb. I don't know why we still do that. Like, and yeah, okay, I take birth control, so maybe I sound like a hypocrite. But at least as a prescription medication that I'm taking, like, it was my decision. It's like I made a decision to prevent pregnancy. But I'm not like, oh, I'm just gonna take a Plan B. I'm like just doing that every time. Like, no, just either just give her birth control or just be smart. Like, I don't know. And like those things are good to have. Like that's the thing. I'm not saying that it's not good, but you shouldn't be taking a Plan B every single time. Like that's like mad weird to me. Like it's your body. Like have some care for your body. That's more so my issue.
Yeah, and it's not my issue because I genuinely don't care.
Yeah, and it is hard because you're a guy, so it is hard sometimes to speak on these things.
It's just like I said, like my stance is I would never resort to, the world doesn't revolve around me. So I know that's a thing, but just me personally, I wouldn't resort to it. Wouldn't resort to abortion. So it doesn't relate to me, and I don't care in that sense. Mm-hmm. But I don't want people, as a humanitarian issue, I don't want people to be declined their ability to get an abortion, whether it was a rape or not. And while I don't agree with abortion necessarily, in the sense that I don't personally, it's not my personal views, I think that it should be available for people. They should be able to have that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully that's not, hopefully I articulated myself beautifully because I don't want to get killed saying that. Basically it's not for me, but do you is kind of my opinion, and hopefully, it gets overturned again. Yeah.
Cause that's like
vote responsibly. People.
My thing too. Like from being a woman, from my perspective, like I literally felt like I said this on Twitter. So I feel like the same way. I feel like me personally, if I ever was in a situation where I got pregnant and I wasn't ready to have a kid, I'm not having an abortion. I would just have the kid. Like I wouldn't even put it for adoption. Like we're at this point in life, we're financially stable. We're comfortable. So it would suck because I just don't feel like paying for a kid right now. Like I'm just selfish, but I would just have the kid. Like even though that's not the time, even though I don't feel like I'm ready, if it were to happen, I would have it just because I'm against abortion, just because I'm very like paranoid about my body and stuff like that, like surgeries, anything like that. Like anything that's like that I could avoid, I'll avoid it. So yeah, and like morally, I just don't agree with it. So yeah. That's basically my opinion too. Like personally, I would never get an abortion. Personally, I wouldn't put myself through that, and I would just have the kid. But I'm I'm all about, because I'm like the most like probably not, I want to say I'm the most selfish person, but I could say sometimes I could be kind of selfish. I'm all for it's not my body, it's not affecting me, it's not my situation. Let people do what they want at the end of the day. If you guys want to go out here, get abortions, doing all this, all that, it's not bothering me. That's my whole thing. You do you. I'm personally not doing it, but I'm also let everybody do what they want. Like, I don't care. So that's the issue I have. It's like, this shouldn't even be a law. Like, why is this a law? Like, let's really think about it. Like, why is this even a law? Like, and I get the whole, because it kind of borders on the line that they saying of murder.
A little bit.
But that's what I think I could agree with, time restrictions on when somebody should have an abortion. But then there's a whole debate about when life begins and what's considered murder. So it just gets really iffy.
I think if never mind. I'm not gonna
I'm
not gonna say it because I'm not gonna put it on video. Are you done with your point?
Yeah, pretty much like, yeah, that's how I feel. Like I wouldn't do it personally, but I'm all for everybody having their own choice, and I feel like this shouldn't even be a Supreme Court thing. Like this should never even been a law. I feel like if clinics are allowing it, let them allow it. Like it should be up to clinic by clinic basis on if they want to perform an abortion on somebody and what they consider. Because like, that's the thing. These people are like in the Supreme Court. They're not scientists. They're not doctors. So I feel like it should be up to a doctor's expertise and what they consider to be a fetus and a human, and just let people get their abortions that do what you want. But
now, real quick, because we always do this, and I swear I'm going to cut you off if you're still talking. Real quick, 2 minutes, because I was going to bring it up, but I forgot my point as always. I need to start writing these things down. But the thing about how this impacts Black people specifically, and people saying that Planned Parenthood,
yeah, it was like made to kill us.
Right. And I don't know how true that is. If it is true, doesn't matter to my point.
I think it's documented.
Okay.
I had to double check that. I will admit that I haven't done my research, but from what I see and the people that discuss it, that it's very, like, pretty documented that was her intent.
Okay. Yeah. Still doesn't impact my point.
Yeah.
But that is there. I don't know personally whether aborting Black children, Black babies, Black fetuses.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's more or less detrimental than having the kids themselves. Now, my point, and the reason why I say that is because we can say that most people get abortions usually because of a financial issue, I would say. I could be wrong about that, but usually, well, it could be they just don't want the kid.
Yeah, I think it's like a combination. I feel like it's like financially. I think it's just not wanting the kid, being too young.
I feel like more often now we see that the kids, they just have the kid and figure it out later.
Yeah.
The single mom sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know which is more detrimental. Let's assume it's an economic issue, right? Mm-hmm. Like they don't have the money. And especially during the time that whatever her name is, and I'm saying that facetiously, created Planned Parenthood. Mm-hmm. At that time, Black economic power wasn't what it is today. Mm-mm. So, if anything, in my opinion, them having the baby would have been more detrimental to the Black community than anything.
Yeah, because of finances.
Now, if the argument was that it was created to just have less Black population,
I think that's what it is.
That part I could understand.
It was to keep us like a minority because there's like this fear. Like that guy who did the Buffalo shooting, like a lot of white people do have this fear of being replaced and outnumbered. And I think like that was like the whole point. They want to keep us a minority, so to keep our numbers low, kill off the babies.
I'm curious which is more detrimental at this point.
I know, because that's what I'm thinking. That's why some people don't agree with that, because they're like, wouldn't it be worse for people to have the babies?
Right, because let's say somebody's in a hard financial time, they have a baby, now they're in worse financial times, and the baby grows up to be a violent person.
But I guess for like white people, it was still just the fact that they still exist though, and that they could eventually overturn things and overturn government and like situations that are in place. So I think their fear still exists. even if we won't have economic power, we will have numbers, power in numbers.
Gotcha.
So I think that's still what's a fear.
Okay. Well, that was quick. Exactly where I wanted it to be. Bottom line, first and foremost, men shouldn't be speaking on what women should be doing.
That's the first thing, is men shouldn't.
Second of all, this shouldn't have even become a thing. It shouldn't have even been a court ruling.
Yeah, like imagine they really in there talking about a woman's body.
Especially when
there's like 3 women in there.
There's tons of other shit that's legal that shouldn't be. If we want to really get into into things, like you're allowed to literally kill yourself with alcohol and tobacco. And I mean, they did just ban Juul as a company.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. I saw some ladies.
Even just the gun problems. Like, why is that not more of a focus?
Yeah, there's so many other issues. And of course, we always end up doing this loop of a million different things in a circle. We could talk about military spending and all the Ukraine issue. We could talk about so many different things and issues. But bottom line, it shouldn't be up to men to decide. I think that women should, and I've mentioned this before, and I'm not going to blame women. This is not a blame the victim sort of situation, but women should, similar to them, there being complaints from women about WNBA players not getting paid more, but all of the WNBA's audience is men.
Yeah.
I think that women should try to go more for political
like seats.
Yeah, more political seats. And I know it's tough for women because if there's any white male dominated anything, it's politics. And I know that the second you're a woman, you're immediately invalidated in politics. But I think women should be more in those places, and when they're in those places, not get bullied to have, views that white men typically have.
Yeah.
And I think that this is stupid. People should be able to do whatever they want, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I get the whole murder thing.
I get it as well.
I feel like, you have to, like, we have to have laws.
There has to be a
about
line
murder.
somewhere.
Yeah, because I do feel like at a certain point, obviously the baby, like, none of us know, because we can't remember that far along. We were conscious back then, but I feel like there is like a level of consciousness, if that makes sense. Because baby, like, the fact that they're kicking around and stuff, they're kind of aware what they're doing and where they're at and moving, and breathing, eating.
Right.
So it's like it's still a living
up
thing.
to a certain point. Yeah, I think once you get past a couple months, it's like, all right.
If you had two,
3,
about 3 months, you already know the gender. Like, they could tell you the gender of a baby like in like 8 weeks.
But again, that's not my place to say anyway, regardless. But just the big points shouldn't be up to men to decide. Women should try to be in more positions so they can make these sorts of decisions and they don't fall on 90-year-old white men's opinions.
Yeah.
People should be able to do what they want. This overturning was stupid, and it's just another thing to distract us from the gas prices and everything else. It just got thrown up out of nowhere. What else?
But also, I do feel like people like need to take accountability and responsibility for their own actions too. Like don't be so reckless with who you're sleeping with. Like, people be so shocked that they get pregnant. It's like, what you think was gonna happen? Like, that's literally the purpose of having sex. It's procreation. Like, the heck.
Yeah, people should be more responsible.
Yeah, I feel like maybe a good thing that could come out of this is maybe people being more responsible. Even though women are claiming they feel like violence is gonna rise because women are gonna withhold, but I'm like, women are not withholding already. Like, I don't think that's a correlation.
I don't agree with that.
Cause I don't think anybody's gonna care. People think they're invincible. People are gonna keep doing what they're gonna do, not expecting to get pregnant. Like, people are gonna be more. I don't think people are gonna start. I don't think people are gonna start withholding.
Yeah, I don't think people are abstaining.
They're not
because of this decision.
Because people, like I said, people think they're invincible. They think, oh, it's not gonna happen to me.
Because they don't do that
I'm not
now.
gonna get pregnant. Yeah,
they don't do it now. So
because abortion, like I said, is invasive anyway. So, like, was that always the plan? Just to put yourself through an invasive process?
Yeah, I don't agree.
So
with
I think that's the dramatics that I get annoyed when this type of stuff happens. Like the very just theatrical dramatics of people trying to be social media warriors and expressing all this fake concern. Like, it's annoying.
I'm open to being completely wrong, but I also don't think that this overturning will have any impact on birth rate or anything.
I don't think so either. I really don't think this is going to be like a huge thing. The only thing that kind of is concerning, because I think this was happening before, like, the Roe versus Wade ruling the first time, that they said that there's going to be a lot more illegal abortions that are going to start popping up and women dying.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's true.
Them going to Mexico, Colombia, all these other places where they're getting the BBLs already.
Yeah, or like an Instagram person who's going to create like Abortion is by Alexis.
Yeah,
Abortion by
there'll be more
Lisa.
popularity in abortion pills and things like that.
Yeah.
It'll definitely get nasty. And this is what happens, right? Like they force people's hands, and then when
'Cause people
these
are gonna
things
be
happen,
desperate to, if they're like, oh my god, like, they have an abusive parent, and like, oh my god, like I got pregnant, like I really messed up. Because I will kind of give grace to young people. Like when you're young, yeah, you know what you're doing. You have a sense of like what's right and what's wrong. But we all did stupid stuff when we were young, so I will give grace to younger people. And I know that's probably so scary to be in a situation now. You have to like get in a legal abortion,
also
but
real quick, and I really didn't want this to be real quick. We
yeah,
stay on these
I
topics
know
way
it's
too
too
long. It's
long.
like a whole
30
podcast.
minutes.
Real quick, for anybody out there listening, because I know I'm a man, and when it comes to women, I'm not allowed
You're
to
not
have a
allowed to
voice.
say nothing.
But to show my concern for women, I became privy to, and this was through my own research and articles and things like that. So apparently there's basically fake abortion clinics that are existing and popping up everywhere. Supposedly they've been all over Snapchat. Snapchat is working on it at the moment.
What?
So supposedly they are anti-abortion clinics, but they pose as an abortion clinic, get you to come in, take down all of your health and medical records and everything, and
Yeah.
then put it into a public database for whatever reason. And it's just like
So people know
that, just for, I don't know, that you attempted to get an abortion at some point. I don't know what they're doing with it, what that does, but they're basically taking it to be public information. So literally it could be a kid that's like 14 years old. They take pictures of your ultrasound,
wow.
all your medical records, and put it in some public database, and it's shared amongst who the fuck knows.
Wow.
So
It was saying that about the period apps too.
yeah, they were
People
like,
not to use the apps anymore because they track your data.
yeah, I don't know why. Yeah,
I
I know
don't
why people
understand
do
that
it.
whole
I know
thing.
why people do it.
What, the period apps?
I know why people do the apps, but don't do the apps.
I haven't
where
used the app literally since what I used to use. Clue. I don't remember. Remember I used to use it. It
Yeah.
tracked like all.
I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave at this point.
I haven't used it since I got on birth control.
I don't want to leave
That's
this
like
point.
6 years.
But anybody listening, please verify that it's an actual, place where you can go and get an abortion if you're looking for one. Because if you're going to one of those places, they're going to take down all your information, do God knows what with it. And what they do supposedly is that not even supposedly, what they do is they bring you in, say it's mandatory for you to get an ultrasound to get an abortion, which is incorrect. That's false. You don't need to have an ultrasound to get an abortion. That doesn't even make no fucking sense.
Why?
They take your ultrasound because you don't need an ultrasound to get an abortion. You could just get an abortion.
But when they do that to confirm that you're pregnant?
No.
Oh.
They don't need to. The problem is that it's not mandatory to get one. They probably would, but they're going to say it's mandatory, which is not the case. And they'll tell you to wait for a certain period of time before you can come back and get the abortion. So that way you're further along in the pregnancy. You might not be able to either the point. And also what they try to do is get you to change your mind within that time frame. And then also to push it out further so you'll feel worse about doing it.
Yeah.
And also potentially run into doctors not willing to do it based on your how far along you are, things like that. So women, just be careful because that's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't even hear about that.
And they won't do the abortion because they're anti-abortion.
Yeah.
And who knows what they're doing with it, sharing a public database, and maybe you're not gonna get a job or something like that. Like who knows what they're doing with it. I don't know. Who knows? But everybody be safe.
I found that.
Okay.
My old data. Look at December 2014.
I know, but we got.
Wait, okay, real quick. But what do you think the green dots mean?
I know what they mean, but we got time constraint. Is there
Babe,
anything?
but this is bad. Wait, look at December.
Is there
But look at this.
I know.
That's like more than half the month.
We got time constraint.
Okay, sorry.
You got anything else?
No, I kind of just basically said what I said. Like to sum it up, like I personally would never, but nobody should have that decision. Like that's how I feel on it. Like I said, I don't care what people do. I really have no sympathy for anybody. Like that sounds really bad, but I'm like probably a really selfish human being. Like except for people who I actually know and care about, I'm all like this. There's billions of people. I can't worry about everybody. I'm only worried about me and my family and my friends and my life, and I wouldn't do it. But if anybody in my life were to do it, I will support them. And hope for the best for them. And anybody else in the world, they could do whatever they want with their body. That should be the thing when it comes to your body. Okay, yeah, should we not be able to steal from stores? Yeah. Like, should we not be able to kill other humans? Yeah. But it's something that you're doing to your own body, that should just be your own choice. And that's really how I feel about it.
All right. What else we got?
Well, it's funny because you were talking about alcohol. What did you just say? You said something about alcohol like a few minutes ago.
Just about it being legal, how the government
Yeah.
allows you to poison yourself.
So that's why this is kind of a good segue into the next topic about addictions. I feel like there's a lot of addictions in this world that don't really get talked about, and if anything, they kind of get glorified. I feel like a lot of addictions are actually glorified and are like something that should really be talked about, in my opinion. Like I feel like especially young people, while we have a chance to like save ourselves from turmoil in the future and like destroying our own bodies, it's good to like, you know, for any young audience who are listening or watching, to just point out things that I really do think are addictions that people should just be weary about.
I'm going to talk about my addictions.
What are your addictions? I
am addicted to... I forgot. I actually literally had an example of what I'm addicted to.
Alex, how do you not know on the top of your head what you're addicted to?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What were you going to say? Just say it.
No, actually, don't. Why did I literally forget? Because I guess it depends what you consider an addiction or not, right? Like, I can't not listen to music whenever I'm just out and around. I don't know.
I think an addiction is anything like where you really feel like you have to do something, or or you kind of feel like stressed or sick or something. Yeah. You're not doing it.
I remember now. I'm addicted to like buying clothes.
And do you think that's an actual addiction? Like, do you think that like you really feel like you have to buy something, or you're not satisfied, or like you're like stressed or anxious or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's more so for me like right now presently. I think that I'm in the transition period of literally like I figured out exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And until I achieve it, then I'm psycho about it. Like you'll see me scrolling and looking at different things. I think I'm addicted to that. If you look, I
think that's a real thing though. Like shopping addictions is definitely a real thing.
And for me, it's not even like buying addiction. It's more so just looking,
yeah,
and favoriting, and it's like, okay, I like this, and documenting it all. That's where I spend most of my. That's where I spend most of my time on my phone, is literally scrolling through shopping things. I don't do really anything else on my phone. I'm not on, the only social media app I have is Instagram and TikTok, if you count it, and I'm not on TikTok scrolling like that. So for me, it's literally just scrolling through different clothing apps and shopping. I think I'm personally addicted to that. I don't have any other addictions.
And then you said music might be a borderline addiction.
No, music definitely is an addiction. Like if I'm...
But I don't know though, because like for the most part on a day to day, like when we're just chilling in our apartment, you don't really be listening to music. Like, some people have to be listening to music all the time.
Well, first of all, I don't want to be annoying. That's being like...
No, but you have your headphones in.
I don't like listening. If I try to avoid headphones as much as possible, because it's better for your ears if you're at least listening to it on a speaker.
And if you're home, if you have these big expensive speakers, why would you use the headphones?
Right, and the Bluetooth is like, I prefer to not have the wireless connection going through my head. So if I'm listening to something, you'll see I'll turn on these with a pill or something like that. I won't ever really have my headphones. But in general, yeah, once I leave here, second No, I mean like just in general. Like if I leave the apartment, you see when I'm driving, I listen to music.
Well, that's normal. I like this.
Driving to the train station, I'm listening to music. Get out the car, listening to music all the way to work.
But that's normal, though.
I know that's normal, but to some people it might not be, because I'm actually the only person that does that, at least in my vicinity at work.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Like you ever see like you have like your friends in high school or even in college, like back before we had AirPods that always just had the wire hanging out the ear. Like you'd be like, are you listening to music? Like they just always had to be listening to stuff. Yeah, so I think it's true. I think music addiction is a real thing, because sometimes people are just addicted to the feeling music gives them, like the comfort it kind of gives them.
Really think about it though.
Filling up an empty space like in your head, basically.
Right now, like I didn't listen. Like if you take my day today,
I
woke up at 6 on the dot, and I mean the times don't really matter, but I listened to the radio on the drive to the train, which there was no music playing, but I listened to the radio. Got out the car at the train station, immediately put my music in, which was at about 6. I mean, was at about 6. What time was it? It was 6:58 in the morning. I didn't take off those headphones or turn off my music until 7:58. So about an hour's worth of music. Then the next time I put my headphones in was at 1. 1 to 2. That's 2 hours right there. Then on the ride back, I listened to music from 5 to about 6. So that's 3 hours right there. Went to the gym, listened to music from about 6:30 to like, let's just say 7:30 to round it. That's 4 hours, which makes it seem not that bad, actually.
Yeah, and it's hard too because some of those things I feel like, I don't know, it's hard because it's like for me, like I never listen to music. Like only time I listen to music is when I drive, or if I'm like by myself, like at the store or at the gym. Really, like honestly, I like on a day to day, I do not listen to music. If I'm not at the gym, or if I'm not in the gym and I'm not driving, I'm not listening to music. Like, so I guess maybe I don't know. Could you consider it addiction though? Because like if I was taking the train to work every day, that's like a commute. Like what I was doing when I was driving to Newark an hour back when I lived. So like when I was before COVID and I was living at home, I listened to music a lot because I was driving to and from work. Like I'm not gonna just sit in an empty car. You're gonna listen to music, get pumped up. So it's like, would you consider it addiction, or do you feel like it's just the convenience of like that's what you do when you're on the train? That's what you do. Like I mean, I guess you could listen to podcasts or you could watch YouTube videos or whatever else. But
Well, I do
for
that.
the most part, people just listen to music when they're on the train or in their cars.
Yeah, I do that too. I used to do that when I had the longer train commute because I was sitting down for a long time. But
Yeah.
on the train I'm on now, by the time I get on it, all the seats are filled. So I
Yeah.
actually don't ever sit down. I'm always standing on the train, on the subway. I'm
That
always
sucks.
standing up. So I never watch anything. I
Yeah.
always have to listen to music because I'm not going to hold my phone and watch
Yeah,
anything.
while you're standing. So that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like maybe obviously you're self aware and you will be able to know if you have an addiction or not. But I feel like also a lot of the situations that you're in is just listening to music out of convenience of those situations.
Yeah, I also think it's because I make it that my mind is even different. Like I think about music differently. I make it like listening to
Yeah.
samples and stuff like that. Like there's a whole other part, but
But it definitely could still be an addiction.
yeah. What about you? What are your addictions?
I feel like something I have borderline like addiction to being on my phone.
Borderline?
Yeah.
Your numbers are crazy. I think one time you pulled 18 hours. No, one time you pulled something crazy where like there was only 14 hours in the day and you were on your phone for 13 of them. That was
You mean 24?
no, I mean like at that point in the day, like there was only
Oh.
14 hours in the day to that point of the 24 and you were on your phone for 13 of them. I was like you are. And I try not to be a parent and yell at you about it, but like you really should stop doing that.
I know.
Like especially because if you're on your phone that much, you have to be successful in some sort of way. Like you
But I
can't
am
be.
successful.
No, I know, but I mean like you need to be entertainment successful, like multimillionaire. If you're spending 14
Yeah.
hours doing anything else, you would be really good at something.
But I think that's the thing. Like my phone addiction started when I kind of just succeeded in everything I needed to succeed. Obviously, the CPA is still outstanding, but besides that, I've kind of accomplished so many goals so early and so quickly that I literally just feel like now I'm at a point because I wasn't on my phone that much in college, in high school. I wasn't in college.
I used to get on you in college too. Yeah.
I wasn't on my phone
were
like that.
always on your phone. I used to have to tell you to get off your phone.
But did I get my stuff done?
You did, but you could have got more stuff done if you didn't.
But I graduated it.
Yeah, you did.
I got my master's
You did, but
in 5 years.
now you're on your phone even more.
Yeah, because I nothing to do. I was on my phone this much, honestly, until COVID too. COVID definitely messed me up. Working from home.
You know what you could do
Definitely
with
messed me
14
up.
hours?
I know.
And you'd be like, I don't want to go to the gym. It's like, wait, you just...
Because I don't feel like getting up and moving.
Yeah, see, that's crazy.
My legs.
You definitely have more than me.
Of a phone addiction?
It's all right.
Well,
we
yeah,
don't have
duh.
to talk about your addictions. Let's talk about other people's addictions that they don't recognize.
No. Like,
People are addicted to food.
But no, but see, that's the thing though. At least I think that's the first thing to say too before we get into that connotation. The first thing is like admitting. You know how they always say the first step is admitting? Most people can never admit stuff. That's why I'm happy that we started with that as our first step, is we're admitting to what we're addicted to, because most people don't want to admit to it because they don't want to say that they have an addiction, or if people just are too egotistical, or they don't know that they have an addiction. But you should be able to recognize the signs of an addiction. Like, it's just, I feel like it's so obvious. Like for me, it's obvious. I'll be on my phone. I'm like, why am I on my phone? It's 3 a.m. Like it's like obvious to me.
I tell you that every day.
Yeah, but it's a problem that I know I have. So at least I know. Like it's up to me to work
I don't know
on
which
it.
and I always have that argument. I don't know which is worse, when you know that you're doing something wrong and still do it, or if you don't know that you're doing
No,
something
but I'm
wrong.
working on it.
No, you're not.
I am. That's why I started going to my gym. We started going to my gym this week. I've been in the gym consistently. I only took a 3-week break, and that's because we were on vacations. But I've been, going back to the gym.
Twice a week.
Yeah, twice a week is all you really need if you're on one body part. I only do my legs. But anyway, yeah, first episode admitting, so we admit it. Can you stop?
You only do part of your legs.
I do everything.
Certainly don't do calves.
I do calves. You saw me do calves last week on last Wednesday. That's why you had to massage them. 'Cause I had a knot. Remember? I had a knot in my legs. Okay, you rude.
Yes, people are addicted to food mostly.
Yeah, food is definitely a number one.
Food and drink
for probably most people that don't realize, because the way people like act like when they eat food. What? I'm just thirsty.
Chick-fil-A, mango smoothies.
This is not a smoothie. This is mango lassi.
Talk to him.
It's Indian drink. It's mad thick.
Food.
But no, definitely food.
Alcohol.
And that's something I feel like a lot of people don't realize.
Alcohol's the biggest one I've seen recently.
Alcohol, food.
I'm like, y'all liver is gonna be gone.
Like, honestly, drinking is not that fun. Like, we just went out Friday or Saturday, that was.
Saturday.
And like, it was cool in the moment, but then like after a while, I'm like, this is not a fun feeling. And then the next morning, always feeling sick, even if I don't drink that much. Like, this is not fun.
I forgot who said it, but they said that the rate of cirrhosis of the liver coming from our generation is going to be crazy, and like when everybody turns like 40. Because
you know what the problem is? Drinking has always been a thing, right? Like, obviously with prohibition, all that. But the problem with this generation is everything is flexing. So when people see people flexing on social media, like, social media is what's the downfall of so many different like areas. Because when people see Casamigos, Douce, Patron, like, you know, all these alcohols that's considered like, I got money.
People don't even know what the alcohol is actually like. I know people hear Patron, but people don't really know what that means.
They don't. They just know it's a brand.
They don't know what a cognac versus a whiskey versus. I know people see the name and difference, but they don't know the process to make it different, like how it's different. Like they don't know any of those things.
And they don't know even like.
They just know the name.
And people don't even appreciate sometimes the aging process of alcohol. Like, how long has this been aged? I mean, lots of stuff that people drink is not aged long. That's why it's cheap. But like, I think this is this flex culture. So when people buy, like, what's that long skinny bottle that everybody loves?
Don Julio.
Yeah, the Don Julio. And what's the other one that's like blue and white and like those and that ceramic thing with the bell? Is this ceramic? It's glass.
With the bell?
The thing with the bell on top. You hit the bell. The one that looks like...
Oh, no, y'all different.
You know, see the one people use as like decoration that they use as like a vase? The blue and white one? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I really don't. With the bell?
Yeah. You don't know what the one with the bell? That should be
No, I'm not an alcoholic, so no, I don't know.
This one, Classe Azul. That silver thing is a bell. You never knew that?
No, I didn't, actually.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised you didn't know that. Yeah, it's like bing, bing, bing.
Well, no, I don't drink, so...
I don't drink like that either. But I knew that because I seen videos and my parents have it in their thing. But yeah, it's a bell. It's like... at the top, this part. But yeah, you know, the Clase Azul, the Don Julio, the Casamigos, the Patron. So there's like this flex culture around drinking, which is why I agree with our generation is going to be so messed up. Because people just feel cool. Like, I'm drinking Casamigos. Like, you guys are spending your whole check on these alcohols for what? Like, and drinking is cool, right? But it's like people take it too far. Like, it's cool if you want to do it here and there. Like, we had our little streak in college. Yeah, whatever. But after a certain age, it's like, is this really fun? Like, throwing back mad shots every weekend. Like, is this really fun? Like, and it's worse for people who don't work jobs like us, like who literally go out during the week, like who go out most times during the week.
I would probably enjoy it more if I had more money. I'm not gonna lie.
But that's because I think there's different ways that you drink when you're at that point. I think when you're younger, like, everybody just drinks just to get drunk. I think people who have money, they don't necessarily always drink to get drunk. They drink to actually enjoy what they're drinking because they're drinking top quality stuff.
I don't want to go on a soliloquy, but the reason why I said that is because I think when it's Saturday and you're drinking, it's cool. But then it's like, in my mind, I'm like, I got to wake up tomorrow. It's going to be Sunday. And then Sunday means I got to get ready to go to work on Monday, which I know is not a good way to look at things. But I feel like I would probably enjoy it a little bit more. But at the same time, you know,
but I just think that the issue is it's not even like the enjoyment.
It's excessive.
Of it. Yeah, it's not even the enjoyment of it at this point. Like, you know, I think the issue with is the addiction.
The crazy thing I've never understood is when people drink and throw up like
the same day.
Like that is nuts.
I don't think I've ever done that.
No, I've 100% never.
Anytime I've thrown up has been the next day.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And you throwing up the next day is just you didn't drink enough water.
Yeah, and so your body.
You throwing up immediately is insane to me. I've
Does
never
that mean
understood
you drank too much?
That means you got alcohol poisoning. To throw up immediately, like within 3 hours of drinking something, either you got an allergy or you were on demon time.
Yeah.
But other things people are addicted to is obviously weed.
Yeah, I think that's something people don't want to admit is that they have a weed addiction because it's like they
Because
feel like
there's no addictive properties in
yeah.
the way that there's nicotine and
And that's the
tobacco.
thing that I hate though, because people feel like there's no addictive properties that is not addictive. Like no, anything is addictive. Anything,
Anything that produces serotonin.
yeah, is addicting. Like just because there's no tobacco in
Video
it,
games can
yeah,
have an addiction. There's
yeah.
no tobacco in that.
But some people literally are fiends for weed. Like they have to smoke all the time. And I'm like, what are you escaping? Like honestly, like that's why like I feel like there's something else that has to be talked about people who drink and smoke all the time. Because like, what are you escaping? Like, do you just not want to be like the best thing I think you could do for yourself is to be with yourself, like living in your thoughts, like being living your like. I think if you're constantly under influence, you're hiding from your own thoughts and your own feelings, right? And being connected to real life and presence and
Or, because I do agree with that, but I'll give you an alternative. Or you use those things to connect to yourself, at least maybe perception wise.
in a way.
You perceive that you're connecting with yourself more. Like you could be under the influence and you feel like it opens your mind.
Yeah, people be like my third eyes
But
and chakras and
or
they
the way
smoke.
people get extra emotional when they drink, it's like them connecting to a side, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. I
I
think
still feel like the best thing to do is to live in in your present moment.
right, but that's a whole nother
Your sober thoughts.
mental health
Yeah,
conversation.
and that's another thing that's underlying with these addictions that
Well,
a lot of people
all
are
of it.
mentally ill
All of it.
and are smoking to cover up.
All addictions are something mental.
Yeah.
People.
Lots of times people they literally can't live with their own thoughts. Like they're literally going crazy and they have to be under the influence.
When people are depressed, they usually eat a lot.
Yeah,
Food addiction, right there, or even the video game
but food
addiction.
has a lot of serotonin. Like the way some people like when you see the overly obese people who clearly have a problem and a food addiction, the way they be moaning like when they're eating food, I'm like, food is not that good. Like I've eaten some really good food, I'm like, this is really good. But the way they be like moaning, like I'm like, this is concerning. Like I gotta show you this one girl. Her name's Hungry Fat Chick on YouTube, and I don't know if she's in a way exaggerating for the views, but it sounds nasty. Like I'm gonna show you when this is.
Don't show me that. Yo. I don't want to hear that.
I don't want to get us flagged.
Don't put.
I'm just gonna open this. I remember it to show you later.
Yeah, don't show me now. I was just thinking of this.
But no, people
Always
really
Sunny in
addicted.
Philadelphia episode where he was moaning eating the pizza. But yeah, people are addicted to a lot of things. I think that recognizing that is definitely important.
The food addiction, I think, is
because,
actually really major.
People are coming at me at work like, how do you not eat red meat? Like, it's okay and
Yeah.
in moderation and like you
Getting
don't like
mad at
bacon.
you for not wanting to eat something.
I'm like, whoa, you defending pigs?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, my bad, bro.
Like, no, people, like, even if it's just simply, like, things that you do, like, if you work out, it's just, like, why is there always a commentary about you? When it comes to health, why does it seem like it's offensive to people almost? Like, oh, you don't eat red meat? Or why? Like, oh, you're vegan? Like, oh, you must think you're better than us. Like, whoa, why are you projecting? Like, what is up with you people?
Yeah, I was eating
and your
popcorn
connection
today.
to food?
I was eating popcorn today, and somebody like messaged me about me eating popcorn. I'm like, whoa, low calorie snack. Whoa, sorry, I'm eating it.
Yeah. Like people, I think, like you said, I think a lot of people know that they have like food problems though. Like a lot of people, I think they didn't understand that. And like, because honestly, when you're eating, you should stop eating the second you feel full. Like I complain about my appetite all the time,
And you
but
should.
that's how you're supposed to eat. Like I'm like, why am I so full so quick? That's just what my body
And
needs.
you shouldn't even necessarily eat until you're full either.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You should just eat I think the word is satiated, till you're satisfied.
Yeah.
Like, but people would be
But people
overeating, or some people's satiation goes beyond.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're so addicted to it.
Because people are so used to eating food like that. Now, before I used to work out, like when I really started working out in 2019, my levels were obscene. I used to eat. It didn't make any sense. You might have. I don't know if you remember, but you were around for some of that. I used to eat to no limit because
I used to get mad because I'm like, why'd you order 6 McChickens?
right. I used to take down like 6 hamburgers. I don't eat red meat anymore. I'm going on how many years of that?
Like 5, 6.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a
now.
while. I think honestly, you stopped eating red meat our sophomore year.
No.
Sophomore year summer.
Nah, it was like 2017, I think, fall. I think.
No, you stopped eating red meat after our junior year. By junior
Oh, was it junior year? I always get
Maybe
that.
not though.
Oh,
No, I think
that's what
by
I just said.
junior year,
I
yeah.
just said junior year,
But that-
2017.
Yeah, but not fall. It was fall 2016.
Oh wait, fall. That would have been senior year.
Yeah,
It might have been senior
fall
year.
20.
Then.
I'm not sure. I feel like it was longer than that.
Nah. Either way, but
Yeah, I forgot. Either 2016 or 2017.
But yeah, my opinion on that, like I've always reiterated, is if you can have anything in moderation, you can just not eat it at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can eat bacon in moderation, but I could just as well not eat it and be perfectly fine. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not missing the bacon, I promise you. I'm not twitching at night because I didn't have the bacon. Food is not that good.
Yeah.
I think that food should taste good for you to be able to
and
eat
sometimes
it.
when you eat food, you're like, this is a really good meal, but it's not like the best thing in the world that you have to get
I'm not
yourself,
shaking.
that you have to die. Like, people are literally
Right,
eating
like
themselves to death, literally.
we just went to Carbone, and like I said, how I was gonna feel before I even got there. I didn't make myself feel this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the food's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not life changing.
It wasn't life changing. Like, I'm like, okay, like, we just get Rihanna and ASAP A here a million times, and Kanye and what's her face?
It's food.
Julia
yo.
Fox. Like,
It's food.
it's still they're humans, and it's just food. Like, it was good, but people exaggerate a lot of times with stuff because
It
celebrity
was great actually. The mozzarella was the best
The
mozzarella,
mozzarella was
I've
really
ever
good,
had.
and that bread was good. And
Not that deep.
Rigatoni,
I won't-
spicy rigatoni vodka was
I
good.
won't be back.
I might go back for the rigatoni, not gonna lie. But it was overhyped. Like, I feel like people were like, "This is the best thing I've ever had." Like, it was really good, but it wasn't like the best thing I've ever had in my life.
I'm like, were you eating dog food before this to make this the best thing you
Yeah,
ever
right.
had?
Like, you guys can't cook. You guys never grew up with family that could cook. Cause my grandma's cooking, and I think it was top tier restaurant
and that's
material.
no disrespect to Carbone because it was great.
No, it was really good.
But it's at the end of the day, it's just food.
Yeah.
And I know people
And
have
people
mental health
pi-
issues. I know.
yeah.
I get it.
And
But
some people like you said, that's where they get their serotonin from, and they have like stuff maybe from their childhood where food was the only thing that like kept them
comfort
happy.
food, yeah. Poverty. People used to, people that are impoverished, they can get the $1 cupcakes, but they can't afford the $5 chicken sandwich or whatever.
Yeah, so it gets deep.
Yeah, it gets
for a
deep.
lot
Of
these
course.
addictions.
Of
I just
course.
think the
Just
best thing is to
recognizing
recognize it and fix it, because you don't want these generational things to continue, especially in the Black community. Like, our relationship with food is terrible. Like, there's no reason that so many of us have family members that die from the same problems, heart problems, high blood pressure. Like, it's no reason that type of stuff runs in our, diabetes. I think every Black person knows a family member that has those things. Like, it's like depressing. So it's like, why do you want to do that to your body and put yourself through that pain? Like, it's painful. People don't realize these things are painful. So like, you did all that
People
to
losing-
go through painful, losing limbs,
Losing hands, feet, toes.
and then you're gonna put your family through pain and your kids because you can't put down the freaking burgers. Like, it's just not that. For me, it's we got to grow up and like just realize what these addictions are and fix them. Same with alcohol. You're gonna put yourself through liver problems, and like, your liver is your liver. We only have one. Like, you don't want to ruin that. Like, that's literally what's like keeping your body like balanced, right? Like,
keeping your body alive.
yeah, like, you don't want to lose that. Like, you don't want to go through that pain, and like, you don't even want to deal with alcohol addiction, because that stuff is scary. Like, just people who have like are extreme alcohol addicts and like literally end up killing themselves or people around them. Like, no, you don't want to have to go through that. So, and then weed. I don't think a weed addiction is harmful necessarily, but it is something that should be kind of like, maybe you need to take a step back and try to understand, why do you constantly need to feel high? Like, why do you need to be high?
To me, it's debatable whether it's harmful or not, because I don't think the weed itself is harmful.
No.
But I think that the way you smoke it is harmful.
Yeah, because papers, like, if you're using papers that have tobacco in it, you're
Even if you're using anything, you're inhaling a carcinogen. It's smoke.
Yeah,
Something's burning.
you're
That's like the
still-
reason why you shouldn't use candles in your house. Like,
Yeah.
you're inhaling something on fire,
yeah,
which kills you. That's what kills you in a fire is smoke.
yeah,
So-
smoke inhalation.
So I don't care what's burning, whether it's weed or a piece of paper. You shouldn't be inhaling it at all. Either way,
yeah,
overcooking your food, burning your food, that's a carcinogen.
yeah.
It's a lot of carbon in that. Whatever.
I just think a lot of this stuff is just not worth it. Like, is it really worth it in the end? Like, years from now, like, are you really gonna be like, I don't regret all the smoking and drinking?
Maybe they won't. And,
Maybe they won't, and they feel like they're just living life, and I'm gonna die anyway.
But my motto is, I don't care about what anybody else does.
A last major addiction too that we could talk about is caffeine.
Yeah, I say coffee,
Caffeine addiction is huge.
but that includes sodas and things.
And even tea. People could be addicted to tea.
Definitely had a tea addiction in college.
And energy drinks. Horrible. Like, energy drinks are so bad for you. That's why they think it's the reason that Kevin Samuels passed, like, from the Red Bulls. That stuff is not good. Like, the way I be anxious and my heart rate be up when I drink any type of coffee. I was trying to say caffeine and coffee at the same time. But anytime I drink any type of caffeine or drink energy drinks, like, is your blood pressure is literally like going up and your heart rate is like fast. Like, you ever feel your heart when you drink coffee?
No, I never had those reactions. I actually only drink coffee. Well, I don't drink coffee anymore, but I used to only drink coffee for the taste because I
Me
like the
too.
taste. But I never had any of those reactions. I never got an energy boost. I just like
You
the
know
way
what
it
I
tastes.
heard though? Caffeine affects people differently. Because caffeine, like I used to literally drink coffee before class and fall asleep in class. Like, caffeine never did what it was supposed to. Energy drinks, yeah, they used to keep me up in high school when I used to like have to study. But then like that crash and like the anxiousness I used to get, it's just and everybody has different reactions to it. Coffee does wake a lot of people up and doesn't affect them the same way. But I do think caffeine has long-term harmful effects.
Right.
And people are addicted bad. Like, I think we see that a lot in corporate America, right? The caffeine addiction.
I don't know because I don't pay attention to anybody.
Nah,
Like, that's the difference
I
between.
had two coworkers. I literally like I was here and one was here, one was here. Coffee breaks twice, 3 times a day. Like, and I'm sure they had the coffee coming in, and then they would go after lunch, and then they would go like at 3. You know, I'm like, dang, you guys had coffee 3 times today. Like, I know people do it to socialize. That's the same thing with drinking. Like, alcohol is like a social activity, but it's like, it's kind of scary. Like, there's no reason they had to drink coffee multiple times a day. Like, that's a huge red flag. So, and but going, kind of, but like I said, the abortion thing. I don't care what you guys do with your body. Do whatever you want, but just be aware, because I'm not trying to donate to anybody's GoFundMe's in 20 years when you guys are on in a hospital bed. Like, that's when I get annoyed, because like now I gotta have sympathy for you when these like you knowingly were doing harm to your body. So that's my issue. Don't be posting no GoFundMe links when you're purposely like doing this to yourself, and then crying and everybody's wailing at the funeral. Like, but you could have prevented it, And I'm not trying to sound heartless, but it's like I think sometimes people just need to hear it in a tough way. Like, it's not like your body is no joke. Like, this is your body. And you should just treat it the best way you can. And not everything is a catch-all. Some people drink and smoke and do all these things, and they be living until 100 and eat red meat and all that. But a lot of things I pick are obviously harmful. And not everybody's as lucky, so.
What else we got?
Brian Laundrie.
You got this. I'm taking myself out.
This is quick, because his suicide letter was released. And he claims that, well, for anybody that doesn't know, obviously, this was a huge case. And like, I remember it distinctly because me and Alex were in St. Martin during that time when all this was going down for my birthday. My birthday is September 16th. So we were literally in the Caribbean when all this was happening, and I had no idea what was really going on because I was trying to have fun. And I came back, and this was huge news. Like, this girl was missing, like Gabby Petito, missing white women syndrome. Everybody was upset because the white woman get all the attention, blah, blah, blah. But, sad story. She was killed by her boyfriend, who they were on a road trip and like doing all that van life stuff. And it came out recently, there was a whole case. He was missing too after he killed her. They found her body, then they found his body. He killed himself, which is crazy because I still to this day don't know how that happened, how he was able to just escape police custody, basically. Like, he wasn't in custody, but surveillance. They were supposed to be sitting outside his house and watching him. It's kind of weird. They should have been kind of tried him charged with something, because the fact that he came back with her van and spent her money and she's missing should have already been something they could have got him on. But anyway, yeah, he killed himself. And then today, or not today, but a few days ago, they finally released the note that they found with him that was in a dry bag. He had a dry bag, so his stuff stayed dry. And there was a note, his suicide note, confession letter. And in it, he basically, in my opinion, lied. Like, I feel like that's like textbook narcissism / insanity, like to lie to your grave. It's like, it's so evil to me, because his story just sounds so fake. Like, he basically said how that she fell and hit her head while they was crossing a stream, and then she was like in so much pain. I guess maybe she got a concussion, and then she was begging for him to take her out of her misery, and so it was like a mercy killing. So he's saying that he killed her to take her out of her pain instead of calling for help or carrying her like the 100 yards it was to the van. 100 yards is a football field, right? We determined. That's not a long walk.
We didn't determine that. We know that.
Well, yeah. No.
We didn't do any.
I think it was like 120 or 150 yards,
yes,
to be exact.
Like, it's 120 if you include the end zones.
So you're telling me This man couldn't lift his, like, so the girl looked petite. Like, she looked like she was like 5'1", 5'2", like 100 pounds probably. Like, she looked mad small. You're telling me this man couldn't pick her up and go and bring her to the car and drive her to a hospital or call the police? Like, does that even sound real to you? That you would just kill your girlfriend because she hit her head and was in pain, so you wanted to take her out of pain like she was some animal caught on a trap. Does that even sound right? Like, isn't that such a lie? And the fact that he couldn't even just admit that in his letter, like, because obviously even a few days before she was killed, they literally were seen on police body cam being pulled over for domestic violence. Like, come on, you don't try to act like we're stupid.
Yeah, I think
and lying to your grave is crazy.
I think he was probably, and this is one of those things where people say that they care and then do shit that shows that they don't really care. I think it was just a last failed attempt, not even maybe necessarily to save himself, but probably to save his parents in some way, because I think he would know that the public wouldn't believe that story.
So you're trying to save his parents, and he knew that his parents were going to get a lot of smoke.
Yeah, so I think that his last, because I think no matter what, he would have been viewed as he's viewed right now. So in my opinion, I think it was probably just a last attempt to not have the public attack his parents. Because if I'm not mistaken, because I don't really I wasn't really intrigued by the storyline. Mm-hmm. So this is a you topic.
Yeah, I was watching it every day. That's how I found that guy on YouTube.
But from my understanding, from overhearing what you were playing in here, didn't he mention his parents in the note, like to not do something, like don't attack his parents or something? Didn't he say that?
I think so.
Or something to that effect. Maybe I'm misremembering, but that's at least what I believe. Because
that's the whole thing, though. Then he should never kill himself. Like that's so whack. Then let yourself get all the heat.
How did he kill himself?
He shot himself. Apparently, he
had a gun.
Yeah, and apparently, like he was out there for weeks, so his body was like
gone. Yeah.
Like it's Florida, and it was water. The gators and whoever got to him. So I think they said that they found like skeletal remains and like a partial skull. So I think they were able to tell like forensics that it was a shot.
Gotcha.
He shot himself.
Okay.
But my whole thing is that would have been the least selfless thing, is to let yourself get the heat and get arrested, because all the hate to his parents didn't really start until he went missing.
So why did he say why he killed himself?
I guess just because the guilt, immense guilt. I forgot what the thing said. I feel like killing yourself is such like a weak thing. Like if you're gonna kill your girl and then leave her out in the woods, not even tell nobody where she died, like. And that's another thing too. Like you didn't even say in the note where she was, because like I don't know if he died before or after they found her. I forgot. I feel like he went missing before they found her.
Yeah, right.
I think so. I would have to confirm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he went missing actually the day we left for our trip, because they said it was like September 12th, and that's when we found out everything was happening. Because we found out that she was missing around that same time too. So I think it's before they even found her body. So that's another thing too. You didn't even put in a letter where she was. Like, what if they were able to find her immediately? You didn't even put in a letter like where to find her. Like, that's why you did that. Come on, because even if you were trying to take her out from misery, wouldn't you have taken her body after that though and brought her so she had a proper burial? You left her there. That's so evil, right? Like, oh, I just can't. That's so evil. Didn't tell nobody where she was for like 20 days. Cause I think she died like the 27th of August. They didn't. She was an adult. Her mom didn't know she was missing officially until like 2 weeks later.
Do we know if she was? There probably would be no real way to tell this. Do we know if there may have been any credence to the creek story? Not necessarily that she fell, but what if he threw her and she hit her head? And then he proceeded to kill her.
People are speculating that maybe they were fighting, and that he like pushed her or something. She hit her. She actually really did hit her head.
Then was complaining
because she had blunt force trauma. Like the autopsy said she had blunt force trauma to the head and neck, but then that the official cause of death was manual strangulation. So she did have trauma to her head, but she died from asphyxiation.
Okay.
Yeah. So it could have been.
Was it?
It could have been a violent rage where he was choking her and smashing her head onto the ground too.
And I'm assuming it wasn't asphyxiation due to drowning.
No, it was due to manual strangulation. Because they said that there's like a certain thing that breaks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that's another thing too. You violently choked her out to take her out of her pain. Like it's just for me, like that's just like another level of evil that just since like makes me feel creeped out. Ugh. And they were from like a town near where I grew up on Long Island, like really close to where I grew up. I think it was the same county, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was Nassau though. They might have. There's only 2 counties in Long Island, so it's either Suffolk or Nassau. But I was from Suffolk County. But yep. And that's like I said. That's my whole thing. You didn't even admit in the letter that where she was, or just admit your truth. Like it's just so crazy to me. Even if you're trying to take the heat off the family, like you could. I think the best way to take the heat off the family is to just admit it and then be like, oh, I told my parents this. Because you still could have said I lied to my parents. They didn't know the real truth. But the fact of the matter is the parents didn't know she was missing, and they didn't say anything to. That's why this whole thing is starting. This literally all this is coming out because the parents, the trial started. The parents are bringing them to civil court, like the girl's parents is bringing the guy's parents, and they're suing their estate, as they should.
Yeah.
Make them niggas broke.
Don't put that word on them.
Sorry, but they knew where she was at and what happened. Like, come on, they went camping. Like, how evil is that? They literally went on a camping trip like the day before he went missing, while she was out there in Wyoming, like just in the middle of nowhere, just rotting. Like that's so evil. That makes me so mad. And their lawyer is like a childhood friend. Like they've been the family lawyer, like their real estate lawyer for like 20 years. So of course he's biased in defending them. It's just crazy. Yep. But I hope they win the case. It'll be interesting to see what more comes out of it. And I just think there's like really evil, crazy people in this world, and that everybody just be mindful of who they're with and who they're dating and all that stuff, and really get to. I feel like we had this conversation. I always try to emphasize. Really, just try to get to know who you're with and look at the red flags.
That won't help.
But that won't help because sometimes people snap. But I mean, some of the stuff that should have been red flags, like she literally, like I said, there was a whole domestic violence dispute, like caught on camera, like days before.
But the problem with things like that is that I think that and I want to make this a separate sort of conversation, not related to these two, because both people are no longer here.
Yeah.
But just in general, I think that like if you want to, I'm next level with the transitions with Johnny Depp and whatever her name is, Amber Heard. Yeah. Those sort of situations. I think that partially society has made people act crazy in relationships because people feel like that's what you should do.
You have to, and if you're not acting crazy, that it's not really in love.
Right. I think that's part of it. But also in general, I think that people in relationships are just both crazy together, and I think that makes it. I think it makes it less of a red flag or less of a toxic sort of feeling or environment, if that makes sense. Because I think it's more visible that you're in a toxic relationship if one person is chilling and the other person's crazy. I think that's more visible. Like if you see somebody wilding out on their significant other in public, like that to me looks more like it's more emphasized versus two crazy people going at it. So if you're in that relationship, I feel like you would just deem it as normal, and then things are gonna go too far. And I feel like that probably happened here.
It makes me wonder though, like in the cases, I hate to like talk on the deceased, but cases like the Chris guy who killed his wife and kids. You remember that whole story? He killed his pregnant wife and he killed the kids. Remember?
Yeah. He
put them in like the oil tank. That crazy psychotic story. In situations like that, and then like situations like with Gabby and Brian, from what I see on the outside, and what like a lot of other people speculate is that like Brian or like Chris were kind of more of like the just really kind of calm guy in a relationship, and that the girls were kind of more expressive, and that it was like a case of them both snapping. Because like the girl and that's what the thing that the bottom line is, you don't justify killing somebody. You move on. You leave the partner. If you think they're too overwhelming, if you think they're crazy, you leave. Like you don't need to kill people.
People do anything but leave.
Yeah. So that like I'm not trying to justify either I'm killing, but I think that in lots of scenarios, like obviously you're still crazy enough, I think, to kill somebody. Because no matter what, I feel like somebody should tell you not to kill another human being, even if you like. And the Chris guy is crazy. Like that was calculated. You literally like not only like if you snapped and killed your wife, okay, fine, but you literally dunked your kids into a tank. Like that nigga was sorry, I don't mean to curse, but he was sick. He was crazy. But like,
stop using that word, please.
sorry, but like, in Gabby and Brian's situation, like people said that he was kind of really quiet, and doesn't really say much. And she admittedly said, like, even in the police camera, that she had like mental illnesses that she was dealing with, And I think that she was saying that he kind of has to deal with stuff too, but she deals with like a lot of anxiety and OCD. And when you're that type of person, you're very like overwhelming, I think. And like you said, sometimes a lot of these situations too, it's just two crazy people, two mentally ill people in relationships, and it's just like you said, they don't even know that they're in a toxic relationship.
So let's do it.
And so let's do it, yeah.
Or they know they're in a toxic relationship and like it.
Yeah.
And I'm not speaking about these two, but just in general.
A lot of people are crazy in the world, and they do like that. They think being in a toxic relationship is fun. Like, I'm like, what's wrong with you people? Like, you guys are that bored in life that you need to have a toxic relationship to have fun. So it's like the best thing in life is literally to be at peace. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why people don't like being like relaxed, peaceful. But yeah, obviously it's a sad situation, but I really do hope the parents win. I hope this case is strong. And that they could literally prove that these parents knew. Because apparently he wrote a letter to the mom, too. That hasn't been revealed yet. Crazy.
Yeah.
Stay away from these crazy people, guys, if you can.
All right, anything else?
No, I only have those 3 things. You have anything else?
How do we feel about Johnny Depp supposedly revitalizing, rebooting Pirates of the Caribbean for a whopping, guess the number.
200 mil.
Up.
400 mil.
Supposedly Johnny Depp.
That's how much he'll get?
Is going to, and this is all reports, nobody knows, he hasn't said anything. At the point in which that I saw that information, so I saw that earlier today. Supposedly for $301 million, he might be reprising, I think is the proper term, his Jack Sparrow character for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wait a minute.
Now, that's just reports. I don't know how truthful that is, especially given that he said he wouldn't, do the role again for whatever number that he said during the trial. So, I don't know. $301 million is a lot of money. You know what you could do with $301 million?
And we've seen his island.
I could do 301 million things.
It was in the Bahamas. For anybody who cares. We saw the island.
Nobody cares.
The infamous Exuma Island. But, I would think that would make him kind of like a hypocrite, though, and it might actually damage his case with Amber, because it's like you was talking all that in court, being, I would never work with him again. And I feel like morally, I wouldn't either. You can make, I know it's Disney though, but you can make that money other places. I don't know though, and the numbers will go crazy. You know how many people will go see that? This will probably be his highest grossing film because of this trial. All the support that he would get. Literally, people were buying the Dior Sauvage because he gets a portion of that, percentage of that. People were literally buying it up because he literally is like an ambassador for it. So they would go to see the movie.
Of course, people were going to see that movie anyway.
Everybody would make money out of this. Everybody would eat like majorly.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, because obviously that's money and that's your livelihood and that's your life, and this is you did lose money these last few years.
Probably lost a significant amount of money. Because the thing about those things is there's no real way to calculate it.
Yeah, they tried to in these court cases, but
they try their best. There's really no way to tell whether a company was interested in doing something, or if you did miss out on a role, how that role specifically would have propelled, their popularity. Mm-hmm. There's no real way to calculate those things.
Yeah. So it's like,
I think 301 is a good number if he was to do it. I think that's
why I feel like he shouldn't have said nothing in the first place, because now it kind of makes you look crazy if you accept it. But I mean, it is kind of crazy though, right? Because it's like a company could easily just now try to pull you back in and make money off of you after literally being a part of the defamation, just believing the story without going to trial.
Yeah,
just to hop on the whole Me Too movement.
Companies are going to do what they're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to distance yourself from those things. Now, I don't know where that falls in terms, because business integrity and integrity to me don't mix. Yeah. I think that there's always going to be a loser in business, because people move in whatever way makes them money. So, if I was him and already said it in the thing that I would never come back, me personally. But then again, I don't know, right? You say that, but I've never been offered $301 million because I would have been right up there.
Yeah, tap dancing.
Tap dancing. I would have pulled out my Jack Sparrow sword.
I had the accent right away. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I'm like, sometimes it's better not to say nothing. He shouldn't have. I know he's really upset and angry, but it's like.
And.
But maybe he has an understanding. Maybe he knows like Disney just had to do what they had to do, and like they had to make a smart move, and like no hard feelings.
Because Disney does do that. Like they oppose the teaching of what do they call it? Like the gender studies.
Oh yeah.
Disney initially.
Yeah, they were for it, right?
They were like, yeah, for it, don't do it, and then they got the backlash, and they were like, never mind. So Disney definitely is on the side of,
what's popular at the time, which was the Me Too movement.
They definitely changed their mind. We'll say that, depending on backlash and things like that. I'm sure they got got killed.
It's hard though because it's like I feel like he understands that, but at the same time, it's like, come on, like I made you billions, probably.
No, not even probably. Them offering 301 if this is real.
Yeah.
And to me, 301 is the number that it should be.
He made them bank because not only are they making money from the movie, they have attractions, Pirates of the Caribbean.
They have toys, they have video games, they have.
And you're gonna turn your back on me after I made you billions. It's like it's kind of like I don't know, but at the same time, it's like if those allegations were true, it's kind of like, what are they supposed to do? So I don't know.
I'm not for companies. I'm for companies taking a step back, right? Like that makes sense. If there's some sort of
like how Nike did with Travis, they put his shoes on hold.
Right.
They didn't cancel the shoes.
Right. Like, let's take a step back. Let's make sure we know what's going on. Let's await some results and then make a decision from there. Yeah. But people in these companies, and I know that they have to, right? It's not necessarily even that these companies want to, but they have pressure from shareholders, as to what they should and shouldn't be doing. They have a board and they have to do what's in the board's best interest. So I know there's different factors at play.
Could they look out for them? They don't want to lose money.
They don't care about Johnny Depp so much as they care about the dollar. Like. And whatever's gonna make them money,
and the company's legacy. Like Disney been around for so long. Like you wanna lose it all.
And as they should, but as nasty as it is, that's business. But the better way to do it is to take a step back. Let's read the room. Let's wait till the actual trial commences. Let's stand by the person that's made us all this money. We've had a working relationship together. Like that's to me is just common business. Like
you had to have courtesy with the people that you work with when you make those decisions to work with people. Like
especially when things don't end up always being what they are. Like in court, not that the court in America has ever been necessarily flawless and right all the time, but at least in terms of this result, we can assume that it was fair.
Yeah, we sat and watched this stuff for like 2 months. It was a long trial.
So assuming that it was fair and everything was true and whatnot. Then they could have came back and be like, boom. Mm-hmm. Imagine how much better it would have been if they would have stood by their business partner through this time, and then once it was done, be like, all right, now
let's make some money together.
Let's go back to
business. But now it might be weird. It's like
if this is even true again, because this is all alleged. We don't really know. He hasn't said anything, of course. But the thing about doing business with public companies is that these things are discussed. Yeah. So we will see one way or another. So yeah, if it's true, good for him.
Yeah. And I would have to rewatch the movies. I actually
really like them.
I had to rewatch it. I think I've only watched one. Like I never was a huge fan of them though.
Let me tell you something. This is not an ad, especially because Disney is,
shiesty.
They do a little questionable things sometimes. But when I was at my aunt's house, she has Disney Plus. It might be top 1 streaming service.
I said you should get it.
Only because they like.
It's like so much that
it's because Disney owns everything.
Yeah, like so much stuff. I'm like, wow, I didn't know Disney owned that. Like, great, I need this.
But I was watching Fantasia, like the 1940 version. Mm-hmm. Like they really have so many things up there. It's like crazy.
We used to watch that in school.
Yeah, Fantasia was it was heat.
We need to get it.
Yeah, I need to finish watching other series and stuff first. Things that I actually really care about. I'm not really too fond of the Netflix series and things like that. Not really for me. I haven't found one except for Ozark really that I'm into.
Yeah, Ozark was good.
But I need to finish other series like gotta finish House of Cards, gotta finish The Wire, gotta finish.
Yeah, we need The Wire.
Everybody Hates Chris. What else? There's a bunch of things. I need to watch Billions. There's so many other series that I need to finish before I start.
Stranger Things.
Before I start diving in, Stranger Things still isn't for me. But before I start diving into a whole nother streaming service. But nonetheless, hopefully things work out the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
we'll see what happens with this.
Because it would be interesting if it is true.
Yeah, it would be.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, cause honestly, that's the thing too. Like people, we say he will have egg on his face, but we don't know those private conversations that might have been had. Like there might have been a Disney person that's talking to him and really trying to say like, hey, like you got to understand that where we were coming from, and we always like trusted you and stuff, but we just have to protect our business and the integrity of our business, and like this is unfortunate, but this is just the byproduct of the situation. Like maybe there was a whole conversation.
No, there definitely
heart to heart and stuff like that. So we don't know behind the scenes, and he was just angry. But sometimes that's why it's better not to say certain things in public. Like he could have just not said that at all. But I know like that's how he was feeling.
Or he used it as a bargaining chip to make more money.
Yeah.
Saying, what this trial is gonna do for both of us.
Yeah. So like I'll work with you guys.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna need at minimum 300.
Because the number was 301, and that's very specific.
Yeah. It's almost like he said that.
Yeah.
You want to give me 301?
Give me nothing. Over 300 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how you feel about Amber Heard shopping at TJ Maxx?
Oh yeah, so I think it's a stunt, publicity stunt. Like I don't put anything. I literally don't put anything past her. I feel like she's so manipulative and she's so mad that she lost this case. And there's some psychotic people in the world like her who are gonna do whatever they can to just keep this going. Cause come on, TMZ was there all of a sudden. We have like.
I don't think they were there.
No, but they're the ones who broke the news. So that like they send stuff. Like people were saying that they probably hired somebody to record her. I don't know. I don't want to be one of those conspiracy theorists, but
they said she put everything back after she saw she was going to be recorded and left.
Wow. No, but come on, you just had a very, very public trial,
and
you're going to go to TJ Maxx with your sister, who also was on the stand. Not even trying to cover up who you are. Like your face was all out, hair pulled back, so people could see that as you. That people think that it's this woe is me stunt, and like look, Johnny Depp took everything from me. Now I'm poor. Shopping and I had to shop at TJ Maxx. But she was just on a private jet like the week before that. I don't pay anything past her. She seems like a really crazy person. And I'm gonna be surprised if this was purposeful. And she paid people to record her and send it to TMZ. Of course, the same TMZ that had somebody go on the stand and say that she sent the other stuff, like the videos before, trying to tarnish Johnny Depp. So
that's the only thing. That's why I don't know if
it seems purposeful.
I don't know if TMZ would be.
Yeah, at this point, right?
I don't. Given that they were the person that he used to be there.
Yeah, he hasn't worked anymore, so that's the only thing. But it's almost like, as a company, why would you want to get yourself involved in this again?
Right, but that's what they do.
Why break the news anyway? Anybody else could have broke it.
Or they could have not.
Yeah,
could have not done anything, but they know. It's all business. But
doesn't that seem so just. Okay, so you was at TJ Maxx all of a sudden.
Maybe
after a very major public trial, you can't you would be ordering clothes right now after you just got publicly embarrassed on it. You would be ordering clothes. You wouldn't be at TJ Maxx. I don't know. And Shein's just that cheap. You go to Shein.
You know what the unfortunate thing is too, and it's not so much that it's unfortunate, but in these scenarios, you see how you're instantly not giving credence to any of these things.
Yeah,
that's gotta suck. That you now forever are gonna be.
Questioned.
Nobody's gonna believe anything ever.
That's her fault though.
Yeah, that's why I said it's not really unfortunate. Because
she just even if she did get abused, right, and there was mutual abuse, it's just the way that she exaggerated these stories. It was just so psychotic to me. Making it sound like Johnny Depp wears rings all the time, and she was talking about how she constantly got punched in the face and multiple times, and it's just where's the marks, where are the bruises, where's the broken nose that you claim you had? It's just she exaggerated the story so much. And there was so many just people that came up to be like, no, you're lying. So many people called her out on lying. Because she tried to lie on so many other people too.
You know what's crazy? When we were down by the island, we were in the more populated part of the Bahamas, but out next to imagine being on his island at night.
Yeah.
Probably terrifying because you really don't see anything.
No, now that I think about it, that's actually really scary.
It probably looks insane at night.
That doesn't even seem fun.
It really doesn't.
Like, yeah, wait, now that you're saying that, that does kind of give me the creeps.
And the islands are skinny.
Yeah. Because, like, in Nassau, I felt safe because it's like...
It's a lot more populated.
Yeah, you look outside the window, you see that castle, Atlantis. But those small Zoom islands were so small and far. You saw how long it took us for it to even get to his island. We was on that boat for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then it's just mad islands that had nothing on it until you got to the next island.
Yeah.
So that probably was scary being out there, but...
Well, in closing, hopefully they drop Pirates of the Caribbean so I can watch everybody wild out.
Yeah, you know the Amber Heard sympathizers will be mad.
People are going to be wilding out in the movie theaters, and I'm praying for anybody.
I know.
That's working
and
at the movie theater.
People are going to be mad too because they're going to say that Amber Heard doesn't need to send him the $10 million. Like, why do you need that $10 million from her? But...
Like I said before, if he really did get this 301, right? Look, I said this before. The money that he's going to get paid back from the trial, I said he should just donate it.
Yeah. And donate to the things that she lied, that she said she donated to. That would be funny.
Yeah. Since she didn't do it, here you go.
Yeah. People think that she has like a anonymous donor. They think it's still Elon. They think that she's blackmailing Elon.
Nah, Elon be spending it. You know Elon was getting filthy.
Yeah, they said that it was him and what's that model? Cara?
Mm-hmm.
And there was literally footage of her making out with Cara in an elevator. Like, she was dirty. Like, imagine like that's your husband's, even if you guys were going to do a divorce, like, and that's still his penthouse. And there's footage of her with Cara making out with her, leaning on Elon, and then her like all up in her other guy. What's his name?
Franco.
Yeah. That's wild. Like, you go on footage multiple times, like, in your husband's penthouse, like, and people want to sit here and have sympathy.
That's that whole industry.
It's sick.
I'm gonna put it on record if we ever got.
I heard that it gets nasty.
If we ever really get some money, we're gonna listen, guys.
We'll expose y'all.
Support the pod. I wasn't gonna say that because now they're not gonna let us in.
I'm not signing no NDAs.
No, we're gonna be blacklisted.
I'm just kidding.
We're gonna infiltrate the industry, and then we're gonna put out all the secrets, and then we're gonna be disappeared.
Yeah. I'm about to say that. I'm like, maybe we shouldn't, because we'll probably get killed.
I've been seeing people that have been posting videos of their cars running off of water, and literally every comment has like 30,000 likes of everybody saying, "Well, it was nice knowing you."
And I remember that one cop that they said
there's even more famous.
He did the car off of water thing, and
there was
all of a sudden he was shot at in Buffalo.
That one's less because it's like. That seems like a reach, right?
Yeah, it did.
There was a bigger one, and we're not gonna get into it because I ain't gonna have the government come after me. There was another one. We could talk about it off mic. That one, very, very, very suspicious to me. I think it was actually the first time anybody ever made a car that ran off of water. This might have been.
He died, or he's missing
under mysterious circumstances. This wasn't recent either. This was like 1970s.
I don't trust any of this stuff. I mean, these people will do anything for money.
Yeah.
Anything.
But anyway. Johnny Depp, get your money.
Yeah.
You got anything else? All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it to this point, this has been episode 45 of the A Couple of Things podcast with Mal and Alex.
We're at almost half 100. I promise you I'm not going to look at this homeless next episode. I'm doing my hair.
Doubt it.
These braids out tonight.
Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
bye.
I will see you guys later.